So yesterday we talked about the goal. And the goal of Vipassana. And also we talk about at least a little bit on the path leading to the goal. Of course, some of you may start thinking, how come he didn't describe what is Nibbana, the goal itself? Then it become very conceptual, the whole talk. All words only. Then it may not be helpful. It may not be that helpful. But every now and then, I will talk about it. I'll definitely touch upon it a little bit here and there as we move along in the next few days. Now, after gathered, seen you all for your practice from the interviews, then there come to something that a lot of us are struggling with, which is the pain. One yogi pain, the next yogi a pain. The third yogi pain, the fourth yogi also pain. Then I think I better talk about it. How we deal with it, yeah? So we're going to narrow down on that area, because this is one area that a lot of times that yogis find they struggle with it. And there are techniques for us to not to get rid of it. Getting rid of it is just stand up and that's it. But that's not the way of Vipassana. The way of Vipassana is to, just like all objects, you pay close attention to it, or to them, if they come a bunch. Sometimes they don't come in as one pain, but a multitude of pain. They come in within the body itself. So we're going to look at it how, not only just how to pay attention to them, but also equally important is that what is the usually the wrong ways that yogi do with it, did with it, How yogis sometimes with a wrong state of mind, wrong attitude, wrong idea, wrong understanding, and then they try to note the pain. If you have the wrong ways, every time you come into the retreat, you will struggle. You will have a hard time. And then you will give up because the pain can be, can be very daunting. It can be it's excruciating. It's excruciating. Now, over the years, I heard many stories of pain. Your pain is not the first time I hear, but you may have experienced it the first time. And sometimes it gets stronger. It doesn't get any weaker. Then doubt may come in that, am I doing the right thing? How come the pain is so much there? So much is like you're struggling with it. Now, generally, for practice sake, it may not be in the sutta. For practice sake, we divide the pain into two types of pain. We're talking about physical pain here, not the mental suffering. This is the physical suffering, the physical pain. Now, the physical pain, normally we just divide them into two types. One type is the meditation pain, and one type is the actual physical pain that you carry whether you meditate or not, don't meditate. Say, for example, you may have a hip pain, and you have it all the time. Perhaps you have a surgery or something like that. Then you have that pain, permanent, kind of like permanent pain on the body or in the body. Meditation pain generally is this. You sit down, the pain is there, you get up, the pain disappears. Next sitting again, the pain comes back, perhaps in different parts of the body. Then you get up again, then the pain gone. Okay? So that one we categorize as a meditation pain. Because it does not affect you that much. But the physical pain, that can be a problem. Sometimes, like, some of us may have like back problem. And then they sit down in this cross-legged, then it's going to be very difficult for them to sit. So usually we recommend them to either sit on a chair or sit with something, there's something on the back just to hold up so that the back is not so painful. Because it's too painful right at the beginning of your meditation. It's going to be very difficult to start any form of meditation. So therefore, we need the body to be as relaxed as possible, as comfortable as possible, but not too comfortable. Comfortable enough for the meditation. Because sometimes yogi, they stretch the words, Comfortable. Lie down also is comfortable, isn't it, Bhante? Then they do lying down meditation. No, that is not what I recommend. That is, I didn't stretch until that far. Yeah? I'm talking about you're doing cross-legged and then you're comfortable with your cross-legged position. Yeah? When you start off with a sitting, you put your cushion together, you put whatever that you want. Yeah? No matter how many cushions you put, the pain will still come. Just get it. Yeah? The pain is not going to run away from you. They will come. So they will come. Yeah? But as long as you're sitting comfortably, then it's good to start off with the sitting meditation in that way. Now, the pain also can be, the meditation pain can fall under, also can be in the form of itchiness also. It's unpleasant feelings. Yeah. It can be different types of bodily pain. It can be at the knee, calves, toes, even soles perhaps. Yeah. It can be at the back, the head, pressure, forehead, anywhere within the whole body. Anything that is unpleasant to you, then we categorize that as, normally if you want to use the right term, is the Pali word is dukkha vedana. Dukkha vedana. The unpleasant feelings of the body. But I don't want to use so much of these type of words. I just want to use a very common language that we can able to understand each other. If it's itchiness, I'll talk about itchiness. If it's the pain, this pain, that pain, then we'll talk about it. Rather than we just categorize them as a bunch of things, as a bunch of pain. So we sit with the pain. We sit comfortably. After perhaps maybe 20 to 30 minutes, the pain will start crawling in. And slowly from the background, it builds up over time. Then the pain becomes the most prominent object. Your rising, falling, or your in-breath, out-breath, or other sensation in the body becomes secondary. So they become the prominent object. So this time when it becomes the prominent object, therefore we have to pay attention to them, and we have to deal with them, we have to note them as they really are. However, a lot of yogis, when it comes with the pain, the attitude of the mind that when they take note of the object, usually is to push the pain away. Because this is natural habit of the mind, This is natural habit of our everyday life. Or even subconsciously, we always push pain away, unpleasant things away. So when it comes to meditation, also the same thing. Then, whenever the pain arises, a lot of times the yogis struggle with it because they can't take it. Now, in samatha meditation, you don't have to deal with the pain. In samatha meditation, when you don't pay attention to the pain, you know the pain is there, but you don't pay attention to the pain. You just keep to the samatha object. It could be the metta object. It could be the anapana object. It could be any other samatha object. So when you don't pay attention, you don't have to pay attention to the pain. Now, when you don't pay attention to the object or to the pain here, the pain does not feel so painful. When attention is not there, it is not. You don't feel so painful. But when it comes to vipassana, it is extra kick, extra oomph, and extra painful. If you really do it, it's sort of like that. You don't have to keep on looking for it; it will look for you. And like rising and falling, you have to go and look. Where is it? Where is it? Sensation. Where is it? Is it here or there? Pain, you don't have to. You'll come and look for you. You become right at the front. So because of the nature of vipassana, is that when you pay attention to something, with clarity, objects become magnified. When you use the word magnify on the pain, it means exactly worse. It means more painful. It means excruciating. And you don't pay attention to it. Next time you meditate, you just don't pay attention to it. It doesn't feel that painful. When you pay attention to it, it gets strong. Again, we go back to one of the principles of vipassana, as one of the principles of mindfulness, or one of the characteristics of mindfulness. It goes face to face with the object. When face to face with the object, things are magnified. So the pain is magnified for you to see its characteristic. So too, like all forms of object, all other kinds of object, all sorts of object, vipassana object, as long as there's mindfulness there, it magnified the whole thing. When it's magnified, it becomes clear. But when you don't pay attention to it, it just remains far away. So sometimes, you see, sometimes my words when I use the word, like for example, thorough in the noting, precision in the noting, it has a certain meaning towards it. Usually I do not use the word subtle. I usually not use the word refined. Because it can have a wrong perception to the yogis. You see. Let's put the vipassana aside. Let's take a magnifying glass in front of you. Okay? Now, when you put a magnifying glass in front of you, you see something tiny. What you see right now through a magnifying glass it becomes expanded. But if you don't have that magnifying glass, these are refined and subtle, or small, or tiny, right? Now, during the practice, we are putting the lens of mindfulness right in front of our object. Therefore, the object becomes expanded. So, to the yogi, when you observe it, to that yogi, the object is close. It's no more subtle. It becomes clear. But if I use the word subtle, refined, the yogi may think that every object will become like that small. That small. So you're thinking that everything you're looking through a very small little thing. But when you're not practicing it, yes, it's actually that small. When the mindfulness is not there, then things are just that small. You see what I mean? So there's a difference. So that's why I seldom use the word subtle. Because subtlety is that to a Vipassana yogi, it's an advanced yogi, everything is very clear to the yogi. But when the yogi knows that if he or she doesn't exert effort or energy, just like when he's just normal, doesn't meditate, then he or she knows that that object is subtle. Right? So too, when I use the word thorough or precision, that means even whether it is when it's magnified by the mindfulness, the object magnified by the mindfulness, we put the mind on top of it and scrutinize its characteristic. To be thorough in whatever that is presented to you. Okay? That is how there's a difference there. So too, when it comes to the pain too, then we apply that precision, we apply that thoroughness, noticing the pain. Because pain itself, or any other object, when the first time you see it, it does not reveal everything to you. It does not reveal its true nature. But as the mindfulness gets stronger, more and more things will be unfold for you. But if you are not on top of it, you will not see its true nature. You will not see its characteristic of the pain or all other objects. So therefore you have to be on top of it to really know what is going on there. It will slowly unfold itself. So it doesn't mean that you just put the mind there, everything you will see. No, it doesn't matter. If like that, very fast you'll be enlightened. But it does not happen in that way. So, now, here is that before we even start with noting the pain, then that would be good that we remove the wrong perception about the pain. Because if you don't realize that this is a wrong way of doing it or a wrong perception, you'll be happily doing it. And yet you think that you are right. You think that you are right. So again here, as a yogi, we must learn how to separate these two. The right way of doing it and the wrong way of doing it, or the wrong perception that stick with the pain. Now, one of the wrong ways of how yogi observe the pain is that when they note the pain, when they observe the pain, behind the noting, that means in their mind, in their heart, they want the pain to go away. Nothing painful, pulling. How come you're still there? How come painful, heart pain. 5 minutes already. You see what I mean? You see a craving behind it? The front is, you think of it as nothing, but behind it, you want it to go away. But did you see your craving there? Or your dislike there? No, you didn't see that. Yeah. So this is one of the most common one. We note it to go away. And that is not right. Our job is not to note it to go away. We note it to see its true characteristic. Neither wishing it to go away, neither wishing it to stay. If it's prominent, you pay attention to it. If it wants to disappear, you let it go. If it wants to become more, you pay attention to it. If it's still prominent, you pay attention to it. So your noting is not for the purpose to get rid of it. Some of us may have done this, do this vipassana practice in order to note pain, to make it go away. Yeah. One of the reason why yogis do like that is because in the past of their practice, that when they meditate, they note pain, pain went away. But that time you didn't realize that. No, that time you didn't wish for it to go away or wish for it to say. It kind of like eventually go away. It kind of eventually subside. So after a few times, so the next time you meditate, then you note, how come still here? How come it was not like 3 days ago or 2 days ago when I noted it subside? You see? So there's a subtlety in the sense of like that craving, that little craving that we don't see it. So in other words, the observation on the pain has to be, you pay attention to the nature of the pain without expecting it to go away. That you have to keep that in mind in the vipassana meditation. In samatha meditation, you don't worry about pain because when you don't look at it. You just put our attention elsewhere, another object. But while you are taking up the pain, this is the first thing. For many yogis, be careful of that desire to push the pain away. The front is the noting, the back is that you're wanting it to go away. So check that. See whether you are wanting it to go away or not. But whether you have the patience. The thing is that first few minutes, yes, you can note. You are brave enough to go through it. But after, let's say, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, the pain is getting more painful, it's getting stronger, it's getting terrible. Then you see whether you want to make it go away or not. That is another thing. But you see, what I want from the yogi is the right way of noting. I know towards the end, perhaps towards you go above your limit, or you are nearly ending. Your patience is very thin right now. So before that, let's say, at least that before when your patience get thinner, while you're still able to note the pain, then at least when you pay attention to the pain, then make sure that you don't have that expectation to make the pain go away. Your job is to see the pain as they really are. For a beginner, sometimes this process may just last you for 1 minute, 2 minutes. But you get it right, you do it right, as the practice progresses, then the time is get longer, longer and longer. That means you can stay with the pain, you can observe the pain without trying to make it go away. Yeah? So this is one thing. Yeah. Another way of how the yogi have a wrong perception about the pain now is this. They are able to tolerate the pain. Yeah. But they are not watching the pain. They are not observing the pain. Yeah. Say, for example, you sit for 1 hour. Yeah? And let's say 15 minutes, then the pain arises and becomes strong. Some yogis, they just sit there and grit their teeth. And they grit their teeth. They're not observing it, but they're just... And then they keep looking at the clock. How long is that? They sit. Then they just grit their teeth. And then when they finish that hour, they feel, triumph. I feel good. Because I win the session. I won the pain. That is not the way too. Because why? You are not observing the pain. You are not seeing the pain as it is. You are just holding on there. You hold the fort. You're holding the fort. You just grit your teeth and you hold the fort. I mean, sometimes gritting the teeth, I may be a bit exaggerating. But some yogis are inside there. Sometimes I've seen some yogis, even their face is contorted, like eating something sour. They're gonna feel. Then we ask them how they watch the pain, how they know. They just can't take it. They know they can take it, but that is not the way. I mean, it's good in certain sense that you can still tolerate with the pain. No, tolerate with the pain. I mean, that toleration, that patience with the pain, that is also important. Because if you cannot tolerate the pain, then how are you going to observe the true nature of the pain? So you need to have that tolerance. You need to have that patience. And that patience does not come in naturally on yourself. It can be trained. Even that patience can be trained for you to, so that you can able to last the whole hour. Even the whole hour, it comes with pain. And all these things can be trained. Here is where the tolerance, when it comes with, when you want to truly able to sit with the pain, one of the most important one is your walking meditation, and especially the slowest phase of walking. And that creates a lot of mental effort, a lot of mindfulness. When it transferred over to the sitting, you will find that when the pain arises, you can actually withstand the pain. You can actually tolerate the pain without the mind getting into anger or wanting to go away, and then it can able to sustain there. And while it sustains that, it can still able to see you as they are. So the slowest phase of the walking, that is very important. So don't neglect that. This is where you gain a lot of mental effort, mental energy. So you need that mental energy, mental effort in order for you to sustain on the pain. Okay? So far can follow? Easy to understand, isn't it? But the next thing you know why I'm going to say. It's always difficult to do. Yeah. So make sure that you just don't grit your teeth there. Just don't hold hold on strongly without noting. The noting is important. Yeah? You can sit there for 2 hours or 3 hours, you're just holding and this one, and that is not good enough for vipassana meditation. Other yogis, sometimes ignorantly, they may praise you. You feel good, your conceit also expanded, bloated up. Yeah? But that is not the way of vipassana. Okay? Yeah. So, so this is one way. They note it, they note the object, they note the pain, and they want to make the pain go away. Yeah? Secondly, the one that is the one that is just holding on in it without noting the pain. Yeah? Third one is this yogi. They try to look from far, far away. You know what I mean by far away? Yeah. So they sit down. They don't want to truly pay attention to the pain. Because again here, sometimes yogi develop fear towards the pain. Develop fear. Why? Because every meditation they have gone to, or many sittings they have gone to, it's nothing but pain. Yeah. Even when they come into the interview, you're supposed to tell me about your rising, falling, but they straight away tell me about their pain. Everything dump it to the teacher about the pain. Yeah? And we can understand because it's a hard time they're going through. Yeah? It's a hard time that they are going through with the pain. So sometimes with this type of pain, again and again, it occurs in every sitting. Sitting after sitting after sitting after sitting. And certain pain are strong and excruciating. So the fear arises. So the fear arises in such a way that it distort the mind a bit, it distort your noting a bit. Then it says that, okay, Bhante say go close to it, everything expanded. If I go far away, then it doesn't expand. You and your brilliant mind. So, again, that's not the way. Because there are places that I've met, the so-called vipassana. Then they come and meditate. When it comes to meditate on the vipassana object, the teacher or even the technique, they will tell you, when it comes to pain, just stay with it from far away. Just look at it from far away. Still look at it from far away. Then everything will be calm and peaceful and nice. Then you thought that if you are ignorant, let's say, you're that ignorant, why go through all the pain? Yeah? Just give it far away. Very nice, pleasant. That is what we call superficiality. The way of mindfulness is, the way of this 4 foundation of mindfulness is that, again, when we talk about the mindfulness, is that you have to sink onto the object. That means you have to go close to the object, not on the surface. No, it's not on the surface. It's not on the superficiality level, superficial level. Yeah. You have to go close to the object. Now, sometimes yogis, then they don't exercise that thorough noticing or precision noticing on the object. Most of the time, the mind will always take everything from far away. Rising, falling, pain, touching, and that's about it. The whole vipassana. They are having the right object. They're still taking the right object. Not that they are not taking the right. They are still taking the right object, but they are not looking onto the object thoroughly, carefully. Yeah. So here the pain is that due to sometimes the yogi is due to fear or due to somebody teach them just to take the pain from far away. Then they do it for the rest of their vipassana retreat or retreat after retreat. Then with that way, you're not going to go much further with that. The cat also is coming, you see? Okay, I thought somebody is walking. Anyway. Alright, so again here, the mind has to go close to the object. Goes close to the object, not on a superficial level. Let's see. Another type of yogi. Again, as I said, pain is a unpleasant feeling. It's a really difficult feeling. Some people, some yogis, once in a while, I will hear this, once in a while. They try to use metta to cover it. They try to, the pain arises. May you be free from all kinds of mental suffering and physical suffering. Yeah, may I be free from all this suffering. May I be pleasant. May I be peaceful. They use that once in a while. They use that. They try to use the metta as their band-aid, as their balm. It's just to soothe the pain. That's to soothe the pain. Yeah. So once in a while, people do that. Yogis do that. And that is not the way. Again, here, a lot of times behind it, they just want to avoid the pain. And they just want to avoid the pain. They just don't want to look at the pain. Now, sometimes, not just only using the metta, but also they go back to the anapana. As the pain comes in, they just want to be peaceful inside there. Just use anapana. Don't pay attention to the pain. When you pay attention to the pain, becomes strong. Then just use anapana, just to relax and just pass the time and perhaps by 1 hour you can get up and that's it. Again, you see, the ways of how yogis try to avoid the pain. With whatever they have a lot of knowledge, Buddhist knowledge, but they simply just arrange it according as they like, and they use it as they like. For the reason is to push away the pain and not watching the pain. So don't try to do that. Don't try to use this metta or anything, but the pain is to be squarely paid, to be noticed. What else? Now, also there's another type of yogi. This one at least not too bad. Some yogis, when they take the pain, when they take, say for example, a strong pain, they have that idea that the pain is always originated from one point. They always think that the pain is like, is spread out, then it goes big. That is not the case for all pain, but sometimes it may happen in that way. But some yogis assume that all pain is in that manner, that they have a bull's eye there, and then there's a rounding. They want to keep looking where is the source of the pain. But not all pain happen in that way. So what happened to this type of yogis is this: when they have the pain arises, they keep on trying to look at that bullseye, but sometimes they could not find it and they get frustrated. And then they think that their meditation is not precise enough, it's not deep enough, because they couldn't get that source of the pain. But nature of the pain, of that certain particular pain, is that it's a spread out pain. There's no point, there's no origination, there's no something right at the middle there. It's a spread out pain. The whole pain is spread out. But even the things is presented to the yogi in that way, but the yogi has that perception, thinking that there must be a source somewhere there. So they keep looking for something is not there. And they get frustrated. You see what I mean again? They are looking for something which is not there. Sometimes there can be a source. Yes. Sometimes they don't have. So, again here, you see, seeing things as they really are is not as simple as it sounds. Because you will want to see what you want to see, not what it's trying to show you. You see what I mean? A lot of yogis are doing in that way, actually. I've been hearing all these type of things. You can just, as I said, as long as you report your interview sincerely, you report it in your own ways, then I can know how to catch where your mistakes are. Even you think that you are just talking through, by already catching here, there, and there. My fingers already there, mistake all. I've been calculating already. Because I've seen so many yogis. But if you try to fake in front of me, then also I know. But then there'll be a loss to you, not me. It's your meditation, not my meditation, after all. So as long as you're sincere, you just report as what you notice, then you'll be very good. Yeah. Once in a while, perhaps not here. There are yogis when come into the interview room, it's like reading news, that they have a piece of paper in the front of them, and then they read everything, every sentence. Like reading news, they curate every word, they write every word down precisely, Don't do that, don't waste your time doing that, do that. You come in, you talk about your experience, because when you speak, emotion is there, your emotions is there, your facial expression is there, your hand gestures are there. All these things, I take it all in. Yeah. If you read it like a news, then you're missing a lot of things. Yeah. So just learn to be natural. Learn to keep it simple. Yeah. If you want to remember something, then you take out a piece of paper, just write a few words. Or sometimes, like what you all do with your after sitting or after walking, want to write down something. Now, in my past, I don't write, I draw. Oh, the rising of gold like this. Then they go like that, But when I see my picture, I know what happened. Yeah? So the drawing speaks 1,000 words, at least to me. Other people look at my notes. What is this scribbling and all that? Nobody knows what I'm writing. So after even so many years, if I go back to my notebook that I wrote in the past, I look at my drawing, I know exactly what was it. So it's keep life simple. But what I'm trying to say is that the notes that you write now, just make it simple, because the more that you write, you're introducing a lot of concept into your mind, and that concept will be very disturbing, perhaps immediately after you get up. Because after you get up, the thoughts about your words is not going to stop at your full stop there. at the period there, when you finish that sentence, you're going to continue into the walking. You're going to continue into the sitting. Yeah? So don't do that. Yeah? Keep all these thoughts and this one as less as possible. It'll be good for you. Yeah? Just write a few words here and there, and that's about it. Yeah? Short notes for yourself. So back again to the pain. Yeah? So as I said that this yogi, they try to look for the core, but pain does not appear every time there must be a core. Yeah? Now even sometimes like pain, it appears in many ways. There's no one way of how the pain arises. Sometimes the pain may be like pressure pain. Sometimes it may be like a twisting pain. Sometimes it may feel like it's like sawing pain. Somebody sawing your leg off. Sometimes it may feel like a very hot pain, a very warm pain. Sometimes it can be very cold pain. Sometimes it can be very itchy type of pain. Sometimes the itchiness arises, but you don't scratch it. You just noting, itchy, and you can see that the itchiness spread out in many ways. Sometimes if you are careful enough, you pay attention to the itchiness. Sometimes there are multiple itchiness, like it's poking, so many areas that it's poking. But if you don't pay attention to it, it looks like just a lump of itchiness. Yeah. So when you pay attention to those things, there are different ways how the pain, how the unpleasant feelings will present to you. So don't have the perception that pain must be one way only, one kind only. There must be a source there. Yeah? A lot of times, logically, if logically it means conceptually, there must be a source, then only the brain spread out. So don't do that. You put away the logic aside, put away the concept aside. Just see things as they really are. They will show you things. They will show you more than what you think it's supposed to be. So this is one thing. What else? There are also like another thing is that normally yogis, especially the beginners yogi, when it comes to pain, we try to move the body and to release the pain. It can be a minor movement, it can be a major movement. As a minor movement, sometimes the yogi, they sit down. Now let's say they sit down, let's say the buttock is having some pain arises. So what happens is that whether they consciously or unconsciously, they just shift the buttock up a bit, and then they release the pain, then they put down again. Nobody sees me. Okay, I'm not moving. You consider that not moving. But the subtlety is that the body is very moved, the pain already subsides. So a lot of times we cannot withstand the pain. We try to have that small little fidgeting, a little bit more of movement, minor movement of the buttock or the leg there. To try not to do that as best as you can. Even when the itchiness comes in, don't scratch it. If you want to scratch it, let's say you cannot take it anymore, then what you should do? Then you should note your intention. Intention to scratch, intention to scratch. Then slowly, then only you scratch. But don't do that as best as you can. Because those small little movements, or little trying to scratch it off, is going to build up as a habit. That is where it's difficult to undo next time in the future. You don't see the problem is that you don't see the problem of moving the buttock a little bit, moving the leg a tiny little bit, just to release the pain a little bit. But you don't realize that these things can start to accumulate. Every time, next time in the future, every time you sit down, the pain comes up, then what do? You just move the body a bit. You think that it's okay. Yeah? So the wrong perception already inside you. So make sure that try not to move as best as you can. Yeah? As much as you can. But for a lot of people, this is a tall order. It's a difficult part of it. Yeah? I know it's not easy. This training is not easy. At one time, many years ago, there's supposed to be a soldier. He's already retired soldier. He came to Vipassana retreat, to my retreat now. He says that this training is even worse than the soldier's training. Yeah. It's true. So, you see, a lot of all this, wrong perception, wrong ways of doing it, is behind it. There's always either craving or there's a minor aversion. There's a dislike there, and then we try to push this away. Yeah? So there are still many others, perhaps the wrong way of doing it. Yeah? But let us put this aside, put the wrong way aside. Let's see what are the right way to pay attention to the pain. Yeah? Now the proper way to pay attention to the pain is that, as I said, as the pain becomes prominent object, then you pay attention to it. Sometimes the pain may not be a prominent object, it may just be at the background object, rising, falling, or other sensation may be still prominent, so you just leave it behind. Don't worry about it. Until it becomes prominent, you let go of everything, then you pay attention to that particular pain. So, when the pain arises, at least you must have that faith and confidence to pay attention to it. That means there must be a courage there. There must be a courage to truly face the pain, even before you actually face the pain. So you must have that courage, that faith that the mind can actually take note of the pain. Now, when you take note of the pain, there are two areas how the pain will express itself to you. The first part is that it will show its characteristic. What type of pain is that? The second part is that it will show its changes of the pain. Sometimes they just come together, but for the sake of the talk, we separate it out. But in the reality, they're all just connected. So what is important here, when you pay attention to the pain, then this time you label the pain. You label the pain as it is. Now this labeling here, you may label it as like pulling. You may label it as like twisting, or sawing, or itchy. You label it in this way, then it's a proper way of labeling. Don't label it in such a way that my leg is painful. My leg is painful. My leg is going to break right now. Usually when you use the word mine, you'll be associated that leg is mine. And the moment you associate that, very quickly the mindfulness will start to drop. You've got to learn to take the pain as something as not yours. Something as not yours, as if like it is there, observation is on top of it, or paying attention on it, rather than thinking that this is my pain. So seeing it as they are. So see what type of pain is there. What sort of pain is there, to identify the pain. Sometimes you may not have the vocabulary for it. You just label it as pain, 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 pain. It's perfectly all right as long as your attention is on the pain. Now, so while you're paying attention on the pain, then make sure that you do not wish for the pain to go away or for the pain to stay or whatever. Your job is just to see the pain as they really are, no matter what sort of pain is that. With that will be very good. So after that, with this, you also check out how the pain is changing. Now, it may not be changing all the time, but as you get more advanced, the changes become more prominent. In the beginning, the pain, I mean as a beginner, the pain that you notice it as if like it is there a lot and it's not like growing more, growing less sometimes. Most of the time, if you can see the changes, it's usually it grows more, getting painful, more stronger. This is what we mean by the pain is changing, one thing. Or the pain is subsiding. Sometimes it's getting less, and then it disappears. Sometimes the pain changes in the sense that from one pain it changes to another pain. From like pulling pain, it comes into a sawing pain. From a sawing pain, it comes to a numb pain. Or sometimes you feel that as if like it's moving around at the leg area, to the hips area, to the back area, then it comes down again. So you follow it. So you follow it as best as you can to see what happened to the pain. Now your job here is to finish that hour. Don't try to be a hero. Sometimes some yogis, they can tolerate the pain, they can watch the pain. I think I'm going to sit for another half an hour with the pain. Don't try to be a hero, because a lot of times we do not know that noting the pain, if you do it on it too much, it's going to upset your noting mind. In other words, it's going to upset the Buddha, the sutta call it the 5 faculties. It's going to upset, you're going to make it upside down. All this become what we call the imbalance of the faculties. So don't try to do that. Stick for 1 hour enough. Sometimes the pain may come in like 15 minutes and then you only 10 minutes. Then if you want to yourself, give another 5 minutes or so, enough. But don't push on to 2 hours, 3 hours. Don't do that. Faculties is also another important area. So pay attention to the pain. Watch the pain carefully. No matter how difficult, painful the pain is. Now, you will come to a time that when you note the pain, you come to your limit. That means you cannot take it anymore. It's like you're dying inside there. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this part here? Now, firstly, try to do this whether you can do it or not. This time, instead of noting the pain, when you come to your patients getting thinner, you know that you cannot take it. Now, this time you switch it to your mind or to your heart. When you switch it there, learn to feel that anger or that dislike is really coming up, or the aversion that is coming up in the heart. You don't want the pain to be there. Don't want, dislike, aversion. Then you can see that how the aversion and the pain is coming together and they are getting more and more. Perhaps you may not able to finish the whole sitting. But what is important, you have the proper technique. The technique is important. The right way of how you note the object is important. How you stretch out further, longer, that depends on your practice already. more and more deeper practice. But if you get the right technique, you'll be helpful from retreat after retreat. You see? If you get the wrong way of doing it, you do it the wrong way, retreat after retreat, you're going to repeat the same thing. Okay? So make sure that you get the right way, pay attention to it without expecting it to go away or this one, or for it to stay. And then watch it. Now, for it to stay, there's also something that I have to talk about. Because sometimes yogi want the pain to be there. They want the pain to be there. Why? Because when the pain comes in, they are so alert. The sleepiness all gone. When there's no pain, no challenges, when they're sitting is just neither here nor there. When the pain comes in, the whole mind gets alert. And then they want the pain to be there. Or sometimes the pain is there, all the thoughts, all the thinking all disappear because the pain takes all the attention. So they want the pain to be there. So be careful also. That is also another craving behind it. But not to worry, that one. That one is still okay, not too bad. Now, let's say this time, now, the aversion arises. Now, you take note of that aversion. As much as you can, you take note of that aversion. So if you can, so you find that the aversion is getting stronger and stronger. Sometimes it just, the aversion may subside. If the aversion subside, the anger subside, or the dislike subside, you can find, sometimes you can see, you're amazed with yourself that after that, you can still sit with the pain. The pain is not affecting you anymore. Or for that short period, it's not affecting you anymore. So a lot of these things, because a lot of aversion is behind it. The dislike is behind it. The craving that comes, that you crave for something pleasant, is behind it. So you take note of it. So once you take note of it, you go back to the pain again. Watch the pain, scrutinize the pain. Now, you try all this way, and it still doesn't work. How? What are you going to do now? The white flag is already up. The white flag. You surrender. Because it is just too painful. You can't take it. Now, if you have to change, let's say the leg is too numb right now, and you cannot take it anymore. You note your anger and you note everything is still not this one. So what you can do is this. This time, this will be your last resort. Okay? This is your last resort. That means you have to change because you can't take it anymore. So you note the pain. So you note your intention. Your non-intention to change. Noting intention to change, then slowly you bring up the leg, and then you feel also at that time, you feel how the leg and how the pain is subsiding. You feel it as the leg is moving to the side or you're changing. You do it slowly until you find that the whole pain starts to subside, and then you continue noting. If the subside, and then that means the pain is no more there, that means they are not prominent anymore, then you go back to your rising and falling. You continue. Not just sit there and just wait for the time. So don't do that. No? Don't do that. You continue and try to not do something useful rather than just let it all go. So, but that will be your last resort. Okay? That will be your last resort. And then again, for you to be able to sit longer with the pain, just now I mentioned, the walking meditation, especially the walking meditation is really important. The third phase, or even the slowest phase that you do, you notice what is going on. every noting that is really helpful when you comes, especially when it comes with the pain. Then you can able to sustain the mind onto the pain for a longer period of time before it goes into a lot of dislike, a lot of too much discomfort to you. Yeah? So take note of this type of take note of these things. So what else? So that's it for tonight. Good luck. All the best. Okay. When the yogi comes into the interview and they report pain, I'm happy. Then the yogi suffer, yes, but I'm happy. At least they are doing the right thing. At least. Okay, let us share merits. Oh, yes. Tomorrow you still have the next group, the 2 days ago you have an interview. But tomorrow I'm not going to have a talk. There's no talk tomorrow night. Okay, you try to digest what I've said for the past few days. So by 8 o'clock, supposed to be a Dhamma talk, but you do a walking. So by 9 o'clock, try to do a sitting before you retire to your kuti. Okay? So let me take a break. If not too much info, you can't digest everything. All right? So we'll continue the Dhamma talk on the following day. All right. So let us share merits.